The more I think about it, the wilder it is, man. The crazier it is. I'm in my mid-30s, and I know people who are still paying off student loan debt from our 20s. Now, I didn't do the student loan route. I went a different way. I did community college for, a little bit, and then I said, no, this is not for me. I'm not doing this, and I'm not going to debt to do more of it or whatever. I'm just going to go a different route. That's what I did. And I went the route of experiences and making a lot of mistakes and all this, but at the same time, in a way, I'm glad I did, right? Because when I was in high school, everybody was being told, you've got to go to college, you've got to get a degree, you've got to do this, you've got to go try to get into this university. If you get these good grades, maybe you'll get a scholarship, there might be grants available, maybe you can get money here, you can get money here, and all of it, 90% of people ended up having to do student loans. Student loan debt. It's a thing, man. You're in your mid-30s, maybe even 40s, you haven't paid it off yet. And I think this is the first step to institutionalization for people. Everybody was right out of high school. Young people. Free and young and vibrant with dreams. A lot of people didn't know what they were going to do. Now, this worked out good for people that had a very clear and concise goal of what they wanted to do in life. They knew that you needed this degree or that degree, and they had a mission, and they went in and they did the work, they put the time in, and they got the degree they wanted, and now they're doing the thing that they planned on doing. This worked out for a lot of people, well, some people, but not most people. I don't think this worked out for most people, because people were just blindly herded into the stalls. They were told, you need to get a degree or you're going to be nothing. This was kind of the messaging. We're talking 2006, 7, whatever. I graduated 2007. We're talking 2008, going to college and starting this debt cycle, really, like right off the bat, before even getting a job. A lot of people didn't work jobs during that time. Depending on your resources that you had at birth or whatever, you may have not even been working a job this time. Your parents might have said, no, just go and do your college and get that job. We'll support you through this time. That happened with some people. Some people had to support themselves through that time, while incurring debt that would hang over them for decades, maybe. Now you get out, you have this debt, you have this already institutionalized mind framework, because college does that too. College does that. There are a lot of free thinkers that come out of college, but a lot of people come out straight up institutionalized. Let's just be real about it. There's definitely an ideological direction that college takes you, whether you like it or not, and whether you agree with it or not. And even if you don't agree with that ideological direction, you go through it, and it's there. I know this because I have a lot of friends that went to college, right? And so I was around it. I understand what's going on out there. And there's definitely a direction to it, So you have this institutionalization that happens from that. You have an institutionalization that happens from the student loans. You get out, you're on the hamster wheel, buddy. You got to pay us back because you signed the contract. These are big contracts. Big contracts, man, for somebody who's 18 years old to sign. You've never bought a house. You've never even bought a car. But you got to sign this contract, man, and we're going to get you in this debt. And you're going to get into debt to go work, to make more debt, because you're going to want to buy a house and a car, right? This is just the first one. This is just the introduction. We're just going to get you introduced into what life is all about, right? For the institution and its subjects. You don't have to agree with me on this. This is just my thinking on it. It's what I've been thinking about this. I didn't invest early. I should have. But I just think about it. 2007, 2008, you got the crash, housing crash, market corrections. If you would have started investing at that time, instead of the student loan debt, right, that you're incurring, but just start working and you work that 4-year time span, the lows of the market in many cases and many sectors, and you invest during that time, and you buy a house even during that time. Maybe you even buy a house. Let's just say the house or the investments. They both will have appreciated so much by this point in time that you will have had all that student loan debt, the value of that, probably times 3 or 4. But you're still working through this time because you can just go get a job, because nobody says you need a college degree. They said it back then, but the truth is, we found out, unless you're in certain fields, right? You don't really need a college degree. I don't need you to have a college degree to run a construction company or to own a series of restaurants, right? I don't necessarily want you to be my doctor if you didn't go to school to be a doctor. There's that. I don't think I want you to be my attorney unless you studied law. There's that, right? There's probably 100 other things like that you needed to go to college for. But most of us didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad that I have the experiences that I have, because I made the mistakes in my 20s. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm rebuilding in my 30s, but I have a good bit of knowledge from the mistakes that I've made. I don't have the debt. I don't have student loan debt to worry about. I never had it to begin with, so I was able to go and make those mistakes freely when I was young. And 20s isn't as young as you should get after it in your 20s, right? You should be starting to invest and be responsible, all those things. And if you do, you're going to get incredible results, most likely. But still, if you're going to make mistakes, better to do it in the 20s, right? But if you're institutionalized at that time, you don't have that luxury. You got to go get a job because you got to pay back those loans. And you'll be expected to own a house, and you'll be expected to drive a respectable car, which is probably going to put you in a massive amount of debt in that way as well. And this will keep you working, will keep you in place. You won't be able to take risk. You won't be able to, take a month off of this work over here so that you can build this business over here, or do it at the same time even, because you don't want to risk losing what you have, because you have to have that because you're institutionalized. You have no choice. This is by design, guys. I feel like a lot of the people behind pushing that, and not to mention that we respect young people because they're naive in a lot of ways, and they don't know. They don't know a lot of things, right? There's not a lot of experience there, so you don't want to go ripping them off and persuading them to do things that they don't know the repercussions of it, right? But yet that happened. It happened en masse. There were some parents that would not allow their children to do anything else other than that. You will go to college. You will go to college and get this degree. You will go to this university. You will work hard so that you were allowed to get into this university, but we can't afford it, so you're going to have to take out a huge loan for it. You're going to be paying that off for years to come. but you're gonna do this. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, I'm not throwing stones or anything. I'm just saying, like, the push was so strong. I don't even know how ethical it really could be. These kids are 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're making these big decisions, signing these big contracts, man. It was by design, man. They knew. The people who implemented those loans knew what's up. They're not foolish. They know you can own a business without having a degree, and you can do a lot of things. I do a lot of things, and I don't have a regular job. I drive DoorDash. I sell things on eBay. I have YouTube channels. I do a lot of things. I'm building things, right? Not the most impressive things in the world, but I'm building things. I don't need a degree. I have experiences that help me with that along the way. I know some of the most successful people I know do not have degrees. Some of the most successful people I know are not very educated at all. Educated. Not by a college. They have life experience. They have street smarts. They may have knowledge on how to fix a car. And they've figured out knowledge on how to balance a checkbook. They've figured out these things. They've figured out math. Because they had to, because they started making money, because the things that they knew how to do, work hard, fix things, build things, maintenance things, wire up houses, right? These are skills that don't necessarily require a degree, but they pay very well. And if you're smart with your money, you'll do really, really well with those things. Like, you don't have to really look that far. You just need to be able to work hard, and you need to learn a skill. And there's a variety of skills you can learn. And you don't have to be as institutionalized. We are all connected, and having to pay taxes and having to pay bills, the power company, right? Whatever, what have you. You can't even own a car without having to pay taxes every year. You can't own a house without having to pay taxes every year. This is true. But the burden of debt, in addition to that, has kept people stuck in that hamster wheel, man. Stuck in that hamster wheel. And while you might have a nice car that you drive and a nice house that you live in, you don't own either one of them, and you have a lot of debt. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying this is something I've noticed, and people have become dependent on the system and scared to veer out, scared to venture out of their lifestyles. Because you may lose that job, and you have to have that income. There's no doubt about it. You'll lose your house, you'll lose your car, you'll lose your social status, which is why you ended up having to buy such a big house and such a big car anyway. And a lot of this started in college. I don't know, just my thoughts on it, man. You don't have to agree with me. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Like I said, I know a lot of brilliant people who took the debts, the loan debts, but they've done well. Maybe they're still paying on it, but they've done well because they accomplished what they were going to do. I have a good friend who is a teacher, and he's accomplished what he was going to do in the sense that he's become a teacher. Money is not everything to this person, so their goal of their mission in life is being achieved as we speak, because they went and took the debt, the loan debt, because they knew, and they weighed the cost. They counted the cost ahead of time, and they did it, and it's turned out to be beneficial to them, and hopefully beneficial to many students to come, whoever, you know what I mean, right? As they teach, because this is their passion. There's that. Then there's everybody that did not end up getting a job in that field, but still owes the debt, and is still now on a vicious cycle of making money and paying off debt. I don't even know if I have a point with this video, guys. Let me know if you get anything out of it, or if you have anything to say about it. That's fine. You don't have to agree with me. I don't really know if I'm even posing like a strong opinion. It's just something that I realized, and I was like, man, you're still paying these debts. Wonder how many people are still paying these debts. And I found out, and it's like a lot of people still paying these debts from like their 20s. We're talking about 15, 20 years ago now. People pay houses off in 15 years, or 30, but sometimes 15. People pay cars off in, I don't know what it is, 5? It's about 5 years they do that. I'm looking for ways to make to siphon off of the hamster wheel the energy that I'm creating with my work anyway, to create systems that, not out of greed or selfishness, but that we can build something that goes and then does something good in the world that is not necessarily institutional, if that makes sense. So when I save and I invest and things like that, I believe you should have an escape route planned at least. And if you never escape, at least you'll have worked in that direction, and you'll have that goal, and you'll have that mission, and probably you will produce a lot of good from it. In producing and creating something unique and new that you wouldn't be able to do if you're at the desk all day in the institutions. We're going to talk more about this kind of thing. I know I went off on this video. It was a little bit of a rant, but let me know what you think. That's all for the day. I've got a bee right here next to me, so I'm gonna try to get this bee out of the car without getting bit, or stung rather. And we're gonna end the video right there. I'll catch you on the next one.